The story that you are about to hear is a compilation of documented true facts, featuring characters, events, or places that has played a role in shaping history. Please sit back and listen as I recite this narrative for you. Elias Abuelazam is an Israeli convicted murderer and suspect of racial serial killing and multiple stabbings. He is suspected in a string of 18 stabbing attacks in the spring and summer of 2010, which resulted in 5 deaths. Abuelazam was born on August 29, 1976, into a well-off Christian Arab family in Ramla, Israel. And as a young child, the family relocated to America. His mother had married again and managed to obtain a green card, but was never granted citizenship. He spent some time working as a mental health technician at the Piedmont Behavioral Health Center, now known as North Spring Behavioral Health Care. He worked there until 2008, and it is this working background that may have given him the idea to plead insanity when he was later arrested and charged with murder. On July 30, 2004, Abuelazam married Jessica Hirth, but the marriage did not last long. He reportedly subjected her to emotional abuse. They divorced in 2007, and Jessica and her parents later expressed shock after he was accused of the murders and stabbings. The crimes Abuelazam committed and is suspected of committing took place between the months of May and August 2010. It is alleged he would drive his Chevrolet Trailblazer around at night and would target small-statured men who happened to be alone. Abuelazam would come up with a ruse, such as needing directions or help with his vehicle, and then he would stab them, aiming mainly for the stomach and chest. The majority of his victims were black, and so the suspicion was that the attacks were motivated by racial hatred. The string of unprovoked attacks began May 24 when 31-year-old David Motley was stabbed to death in Flint. There were 2 stabbings in June, but the violence escalated in July. Police didn't link the cases at first, partly because the attacks were random and occurred in different jurisdictions, but eventually they saw a pattern. Police think the attacker went to Virginia. On August 3rd, 15-year-old Anthony Cage was jogging in Leesburg when a man stabbed him in the back without saying a word. 2 days later, and a short distance away, a 67-year-old man sitting on the stoop outside his apartment was stabbed by a person thought by police to be the same assailant. Then, a 19-year-old man was in Leesburg parking lot when someone asked for help fixing his Chevrolet Blazer. When the teenager approached, the man struck him in the head with a hammer. That attack was recorded by a security camera, providing investigators with a break in the case. An image of both the suspect and vehicle. Leesburg detectives noticed similarities to the Michigan cases. Authorities put out a public plea for helping in finding the Blazer. By August 4, 2010, 5 men were dead. Another 9 had been attacked but survived. It was clear that the large number of stabbings that had occurred since May were likely the actions of one perpetrator, and a task force was created to investigate the crimes. Within a few days, the Leesburg police were able to connect 3 attacks on black men in their area as the work of one man. Description of the suspect had been given by the victims, and the video surveillance footage of each attack was located and analyzed. The descriptions of the attacks in the SUV, publicized by the media, brought word of 3 more similar attacks in Virginia and another in Ohio in early August. As police were narrowing down their suspects, Abuelazam happened to be arrested on August 5 in Arlington, Virginia. He had been stopped during a routine traffic stop and found to have an outstanding warrant for a previous assault. He was arrested but released on bond. But now, His information was in the system, and police were able to piece the puzzle together and identify him as their main suspect. With the help of a U.S. Custom agent, on August 10, 2010, Abuelazam was arrested at Hatfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport as he waited to board a flight to Tel Aviv. He was given the option to fight against being extradited to Michigan, which he declined. He was therefore transported to Flint, Michigan on August 26. Because of the nature of his alleged crimes, he was held without bond and placed in solitary confinement while he awaited his trial. On August 26, 2010, the Genesee County Prosecutor's Office charged him with one count of assault with intent to commit murder for an attack on July 27, 2010. On September 20, 2010, he was charged with 4 additional counts of assault to commit murder. The victims in those crimes are Bill Fisher, who was attacked on June 26, 2010, Richard Booker, who was attacked July 19, 2010 in Genesee Township, Michigan, Etwan Wilson, who was attacked August 1, 2010 near Pearson Road, and Davon Rolls. On October 8, 2010, an Ohio grand jury indicted Abuelazam and charged him with felonious assault in the stabbing of church janitor Tony Leno in Toledo, Ohio. On October 21, 2010, he was charged with murder in the stabbing deaths of Frank Kellybrew and Darwin Marshall of Flint, Michigan. On November 4, 2010, he was charged with 2 counts of resisting and obstructing a police officer, causing injury, and 3 counts of resisting and obstructing a police officer after he attempted to punch a deputy and had to be tasered with the help of 4 other officers on October 27, 2010. On November 12, 2010, he was charged with malicious destruction of property for smashing out the windows of a car belonging to James Augsburger, boyfriend of witness Lucinda Mann. On November 23, 2010, he was charged with assault with intent to murder in the stabbing of Antoine Jackson on July 12, 2010 in Burton, Michigan. The first trial began on May 8, 2012 for the Arnold Minor murder case. Arnold Minor, a 49-year-old handyman, was attacked in the early hours of August 2, 2010 near downtown Flint. One important piece of evidence was a blood drop found on Abuelazam's pants, which was found to belong to Arnold Minor. The victim's blood was also found on the steering wheel and floor of Abuelazam's Chevy Blazer. On May 15, the prosecution rested after calling 50 witnesses, including other victims and their relatives, several forensics experts, as well as Abuelazam's uncle, who assisted police in his capture. 2 days later, on May 17, Abuelazam's attorneys presented an insanity defense. Their sole witness was a psychiatrist hired by his attorneys who diagnosed him with paranoid schizophrenia and said Abuelazam told him he committed the crimes because of evil spirits. The doctor also said Abuelazam told him he attempted suicide in 1997 and was diagnosed as psychotic by an Israeli psychologist in 2009. The prosecution responded by attacking the psychiatrist's credibility, noting that his field of expertise is drug and alcohol addiction treatment. The next day, the prosecution refuted the psychiatrist's diagnosis with 2 of their own mental health experts. 2 psychologists who testified on behalf of the prosecution agreed that although Abuelazam has an unspecified personality disorder and he lacked empathy, his attacks were too planned out and organized for him to be considered legally insane. Although Abuelazam had been indicted in the Toledo attack, prosecutors there are awaiting the outcome of the Genesee County cases before proceeding. Likewise, Virginia officials have said they will monitor what happens here before moving forward with their cases against Abuelazam. The jury began their deliberations on May 22, 2012, and it took them 2 hours and 23 minutes to find Abuelazam guilty of the murder of Arnold Minor. Abuelazam was sentenced on June 25, 2012 to serve life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. As a result, Genesee County prosecutors have announced Abuelazam will not stand trial for the other crimes in their jurisdiction, nor will authorities in Toledo or Leesburg try him. He is currently incarcerated at the Ionia Maximum Correctional Facility in Ionia, Michigan. Hey everyone! I just wanted to express how grateful I am that you took the time to listen to my narration. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I am Twysted Mind and please enjoy the rest of your day. Salamat!